What if we tell you that Pope John Paul II, back in 1979, bowed and prayed to the artwork showing Black Madonna? He was on his first pilgrimage to his homeland of Poland, where he visited the Jasna Gora Monastery in Czestochowa. There, he could not stick to the directives of the white supremacists and surrendered, bowing before the icon of the Black Madonna of Czestochowa. It's because he knew inside that the Virgin Mary and Jesus were black. However, it was later said by white supremacists that the icon of the Virgin Mary did not portray her as black. Rather, the storm had tempered the icon. It was a petty excuse, as a storm needed to be miraculous to turn the religious icons in Spain, Italy, Russia, and Ethiopia into black. But since then, they have carefully ensured nobody talks and knows about the Black Madonna and all other icons representing the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ as black. So what should you know about the hidden history of Black Madonnas and Black Jesus that is changing Christianity and divinity completely? Welcome to a new episode of Black Afric Diary, a channel where we talk about Black African history, culture, arts, and civilization. It's a place where you will see the real picture of Black Africa, its stories, and the events defining it. In this episode, we will tell you about the untold history of Black Madonnas they tried to hide. Let's get started. The Roman Church began around 334 CE, but it was the First Council of Nicaea in 325 CE, convened by Emperor Constantine in Constantinople, that played a crucial role in shaping Christianity as the official religion of the Roman Empire. This council marked the beginning of the transformation of Judeo-Christian ideology into an organized religion under the Roman state. As a result, the head of the empire also became the head of the Roman Church, establishing a central authority. This dual role of political and religious leadership set the stage for what would later be known as the Roman Catholic Church. Following the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century CE, the Eastern Roman Empire, or the Byzantine Empire, continued to wield significant influence. The Church assumed a more prominent role, culminating in the formation of the Holy Roman Empire in the 6th century CE. The Church's leadership eventually transitioned to the Pope, while the emperor in Byzantium retained political control. This duality is exemplified by Emperor Justinian, who ruled during a devastating plague that nearly whipped off Europe's population. By the 15th century CE, the representation of key religious figures had undergone significant changes. Michelangelo's depiction of the crucified Rabbi Yeshua, Jesus, portrayed Jesus with distinctly Caucasian features. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper similarly illustrated Jesus with long hair, blue eyes, and pale white skin. These representations became standardized in the Roman Church and heavily influenced European perceptions of religious icons. When Europeans began exploring and colonizing West Africa in the 15th century, they carried these images and the associated Christian ideology with them. This European concept of Jesus as the savior of all mankind was thus introduced to African societies. Before this period, Northern Africa and the Sahel region had already been exposed to Islamic ideology, brought by Arab traders via the trans-Saharan trade routes around the 7th century CE. This included the introduction of the Arab slave trade. The arrival of Europeans in the 15th century CE marked the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade, during which European powers also spread Christian ideology across Africa. This historical context brings us to the central topic of discussion: La Moreneta, or the Black Madonnas. In medieval times, particularly in the 5th century CE, Christianity was spreading throughout Europe, influenced by the Eastern Roman Empire. During this period, depictions of the Virgin Mary and the infant Jesus often portrayed them as black, Negroid mother and child. Surprisingly, by this time, Europeans had not thought of the idea of whitewashing religious paintings and concepts. Therefore, the paintings of that era depict the Virgin Mary and Jesus as black, the true color that Christians of that time accepted. These early representations are significant because they reflect diverse understandings and portrayals of biblical figures in different cultural contexts. In the 2nd century CE, depictions of Yeshua, the Jewish rabbi, also showed him with Africoid features, emphasizing the ethnic and racial diversity of early Christian iconography. However, these depictions began to change around the 11th century CE. These changes coincided with significant historical events and cultural shifts, including the First Crusade, incited by Pope Urban's sermon in November 1098 CE. This period saw a transformation in the portrayal of religious figures, aligning more closely with the features and ideals of European populations. The term Black Madonna or Black Virgin specifically refers to statues or paintings in Western Christendom that depict the Blessed Virgin Mary and the infant Jesus with dark skin. These representations are crucial for understanding the evolution of religious iconography and the broader cultural and historical influences that shaped these depictions. The Black Madonnas serve as a testament to the early diversity in Christian iconography and the subsequent changes that occurred over the centuries due to various socio-political and cultural factors. However, it should not be considered that every area of the world depicted Jesus in its own way. It's because this does not give us any understanding of the Virgin Mary and Jesus' color. We only found their representations in either white or black, rejecting that they were portrayed in diverse colors. This leaves us with the argument that if Europeans started whitewashing religious paintings, it means that at a particular time in history, all religious paintings showed the Virgin Mary and Jesus as black, which was their true color. The shift from African to Caucasian depictions of key religious figures, such as Jesus and Mary, reflects broader historical trends of erasure and the imposition of dominant cultural narratives. This transformation aligns with the expansion of European influence and the consolidation of a Eurocentric worldview within Christianity. The widespread acceptance of Caucasian depictions of Jesus and Mary in European art and religious practice can be seen as a reflection of this shift. As Europeans ventured into new territories, including Africa, they carried these altered religious images and ideologies with them. The introduction of Christianity to West Africa in the 15th century CE by European colonizers came with these standardized depictions of religious figures, which contrasted with earlier representations. This period also marked the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade, further entrenching European influence and ideology in African societies. However, Europeans have constructed various theories to justify that the Black Madonna's dark skin is accidental, a result of the original white images darkening over time due to aging and exposure to candle soot. However, this explanation is both anecdotal and indicative of cultural whitewashing. It is hard to believe that these images, made from various materials, would have aged in such a way that only their faces and hands turned black. This phenomenon has not been observed to the same extent in representations of Jesus Christ. Another explanation ties the Black Madonna to a biblical verse from the Song of Solomon, where the bride says, "I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem." This theory at least acknowledges a deliberate intention behind the blackness of these images, which are found in hundreds of Catholic churches across Europe and Latin America. The Black Madonna, a depiction of the Virgin Mary with dark skin, remains one of the most mysterious and controversial religious icons, with a complex history and many possible meanings. Black Madonna images, dating mostly from the medieval period, appear in paintings and sculptures carved out of wood and stone. The oldest examples, and the majority of them, are found in European countries. According to some estimates, there are around 500 Black Madonnas in Europe alone, primarily Byzantine icons and statues in Catholic and Orthodox countries. They are often housed in the most venerated shrines dedicated to the Virgin Mary and have attracted thousands of pilgrims for centuries. Among the most well-known of these images are Our Lady of Częstochowa in Poland and Our Lady of Montserrat in Catalonia. In these locations, their meaning and significance extend beyond religion, serving as powerful symbols of national identity. Most people are familiar with depictions of the Virgin Mary as fair-skinned, blue-eyed, and blonde. A first encounter with a Black Madonna is invariably intriguing, with the initial question on most visitors' minds, regardless of their country of origin or ethnic background, being, why is she black? This is where the controversy begins, with conflicting views between the church, academics, and researchers. One of Poland's greatest contemporary composers, Henryk Górecki, once said that her image, Our Lady of Częstochowa, juxtaposes several ideals of womanhood: a powerful heavenly queen, a suffering mother, and a perfect nurturer. The scars on her face are a sign of the suffering she shares with her worshippers. Górecki's words highlight the profound connection between the image of the Black Madonna and the people who venerate her, reflecting their own struggles and hopes. The Black Madonna's image serves as a bridge between the divine and the earthly, reflecting the cultural and historical context in which it was created and venerated. In medieval Europe, blackness was often associated with the earth, fertility, and the mysterious aspects of nature. The depiction of the Virgin Mary and Jesus with dark skin could symbolize their universality and their connection to all humanity, transcending racial and cultural boundaries. Despite the common explanation of accidental darkening, the consistent portrayal of Black Madonnas across various regions and periods suggests a deliberate choice by the artists and communities that created and revered these images. This choice could reflect a more inclusive and diverse understanding of divinity, challenging the predominantly Caucasian depictions that later became standardized. The veneration of Black Madonnas also points to the deep spiritual and emotional resonance these images hold for the communities that honor them. Pilgrims travel great distances to pray before these statues and paintings, seeking comfort, miracles, and a sense of connection to the divine. The Black Madonna of Częstochowa, for instance, is not just a religious icon, but a national symbol of Poland, embodying the country's resilience and faith through centuries of struggle and hardship. There, people worship her without harboring any thoughts of whitewashing the paintings, accepting the Virgin Mary's racial roots. Similarly, the Black Madonna of Montserrat holds a significant place in Catalonia's cultural and religious landscape. Known as La Moreneta, she is considered the patron saint of Catalonia, and her sanctuary in the Montserrat Mountains has been a pilgrimage site for centuries. The image of La Moreneta, with her dark skin and serene expression, offers a powerful symbol of protection and intercession for the people of Catalonia. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. In the case of the Black Madonna of Częstochowa, the Virgin Mary's suffering is at the heart of the Polish soul, woven into Polish culture, Catholicism, history, and the lives of Polish mothers. Since the painting was brought to Częstochowa in 1382, at a time when Poland was emerging as a unified nation, she has stood as the most powerful symbol of Polish identity. Throughout Poland's turbulent history, marked by the Russian partitions, World War II, and post-war communism, the image known as Our Lady of Częstochowa has epitomized perfect motherhood, offering loving and forgiving protection, while sharing in the grief and resilience of her people. The story of the Virgin Mary's image in Poland is steeped in legend. It is believed that the Black Madonna was painted by Luke the Evangelist on a tabletop built by Jesus himself. This sacred relic was discovered in the Holy Land by Saint Helen, the mother of Emperor Constantine, and a renowned collector of Christian artifacts. The piece was enshrined in Constantinople for 500 years before being given as a wedding present by the Byzantine emperor to a Greek princess marrying a Ruthenian nobleman in 803. It eventually made its way to Poland in 1382. According to the Polish historian Jan Długosz, in his 15th century work, Liber Beneficiorum, the painting was brought to the Pauline monastery at Częstochowa by Prince Władysław Jagiello from a castle in Belz, Russia. Prince Jagiello invited monks from Hungary to safeguard the holy picture. 4 years later, in 1386, at the monastery of Jasna Gora in the small town of Częstochowa, these monks established a shrine for the sacred painting. When the Hussites, the Czech forerunners of the Protestant Reformation, attacked Jasna Gora in 1430, they damaged the work with arrows and slashed the Virgin's face with a sword. Legend says the monks rescued the painting from a bed of mud, where a miraculous fountain appeared, which they used to clean it. Despite being repainted in Krakow, the arrow marks and the gash from the sword remained and are still visible today. The Black Madonna of Częstochowa is also renowned for the miraculous liberation that occurred when Swedish troops attempted to invade the city in 1655. Surrounded by the Swedish army, a group of Polish soldiers prayed desperately at the feet of their revered icon for deliverance. Miraculously, despite the overwhelming strength of the invaders, the Swedish army retreated. In 1656, a year after this failed invasion, King John II Casimir of Poland declared the image to be the Queen of Poland and made Częstochowa the spiritual capital of the nation. Thus, the Black Madonna became a symbol of protection and a central figure in creating a national identity that resonated deeply with the Polish population. In 1717, Pope Clement II officially recognized the miraculous nature of the image. There are accounts suggesting that the Virgin Mary intervened once more in 1920 when the Soviet Red Army threatened to attack Warsaw near the Vistula River. During this time, the entire nation turned to the black-colored image, also known as Our Lady of Czestochowa, on September 15th, coinciding with the feast of Our Lady of Sorrows. It's reported that the Virgin Mary appeared in the clouds above Warsaw, and shortly after, the Russians were defeated, a moment later known as the Miracle at the Vistula River. In 1925, Pope Pius VI established May 3rd as a feast day in honor of the image, now known as the Black Madonna of Czestochowa. Despite the Nazi occupation of Poland from 1939 to 1945, which forbade pilgrimages to Jasna Góra, many Poles continued their journeys in secrecy. Then, on September 8, 1946, a year after Poland's liberation, crowds gathered at Czestochowa to express gratitude for the image. During the communist era, Jasna Góra, the home of the Black Madonna, became a symbol of resistance against the government. These historical events strengthened the belief of the Polish nation in the image's miraculous powers. The iconic image of the Queen of Poland can be found in many Polish homes, where individuals seek solace and assistance in both personal and national matters. Pope John Paul II visited the monastery a few days before becoming pope in 1979, acknowledging the profound connection that Poles have with the shrine of Jasna Góra. Therefore, the image of the Black Madonna is believed to have been originally depicted with dark flesh tones, contrary to claims of later discoloration from smoke or aging. It likely dates back to the 14th century, consistent with the lack of evidence before 1384, when the icon first appeared at the Jasna Góra monastery. Devotion to the image remains an integral aspect of Polish culture, passed down through generations. However, there is an aspect of the Black Madonna of Montserrat that remains hidden. Stories of miracles attributed to the Virgin Mary spread among pilgrims, leading to the monastery's widespread popularity. By 1409, the monastery had become an independent cultural center, drawing pilgrims seeking connection and divine intervention. Even today, the electromagnetic fields in this area are reputedly strong, with locals attributing healing powers to the small, dark statue. It's believed that touching either the statue or the orb she holds in one hand can lead to healing. Interestingly, the entire layout of Montserrat was designed with the worship of the Black Madonna in mind, with the statue housed within the basilica. According to some legends, the statue of the Black Madonna of Montserrat originated in Jerusalem during the early days of Christianity. It's even said to have been carved by St. Luke himself during that time. This statue has gained worldwide fame as one of the most prominent Black Madonna statues, and in 1844, Pope Leo XIII officially declared the Virgin of Montserrat the patroness of Catalonia. Legend has it that the statue was moved from Jerusalem to Egypt in mysterious circumstances, resembling the flight of the Holy Family from King Herod's troops. Eventually, around 718 AD, to protect it from Moorish invaders, the statue was taken to Barcelona. However, it vanished from sight until 880 AD, when shepherds, watching their flocks at night, witnessed lights and heard singing on a mountainside in Catalonia. Upon investigation, they discovered the statue enthroned on a ledge in a cavern. Efforts to relocate the statue to the cathedral failed, as it inexplicably became heavier. This was interpreted as a sign to leave it at a nearby abbey. During the 9th century, this abbey expanded into 4 chapels, and by the 11th century, a monastery was established on the mountains of Montserrat, near the abbey. Stories of mysterious occurrences on the mountains spread, leading to pilgrimages, prayers, and requests for divine intervention. Tales of miraculous healing soon became widespread throughout Spain. In 1592, the original shrine was transformed into a basilica dedicated to Our Lady of Montserrat. A rich tradition of pilgrimages grew around the Black Madonna. Standing 37 inches tall, the statue portrays the baby seated on his mother's lap, blessing with his right hand while holding a small fir cone in his left. The Madonna herself holds an orb in her right hand, while her left hand lovingly hovers around the baby's shoulder. In 1881, Pope Leo XIII officially crowned her Our Lady of Montserrat, and in 1947, the Black Madonna was honored in the enthronement ceremony of the image of the Mother of God. Since then, The monastery has seen a steady increase in popularity among pilgrims and visitors alike. Typically, paintings depicting Black Madonnas are icons rooted in Byzantine origins or styles, with some tracing back to 13th or 14th century Italy. Others are from regions like the Middle East, Caucasus, or Africa, notably Egypt and Ethiopia, boasting even older examples. These statues, often crafted from wood but occasionally from stone, can reach heights of up to 30 inches and are categorized as either freestanding upright figures or seated figures on thrones. Among believers, these images enjoy considerable popularity, with numerous examples present in shrines worldwide. Some of the most renowned include Our Lady of Altötting in Bavaria, Germany, Our Lady of the Hermits in Einsiedeln, Switzerland, Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City, Our Lady of Jasna Góra in Częstochowa, Poland, Our Lady of Montserrat in Spain, and Our Lady of Tindari in Sicily. Many of these images have gained approval from ecclesiastical authorities, often due to documented miraculous occurrences associated with them. Early investigations into dark images in France were carried out by Marie Durand-Lève in 1937, Émile Sasse in 1945, and Wien in 1972. The first notable exploration of the origin and significance of Black Madonnas in English appears to have been conducted by Leonard Moss at a meeting of the American Association for the Advancement of Science on December 28, 1952. Moss's study was notable in that every image he examined was reputed to have been associated with miracles. He classified these images into three categories: those depicting dark brown or Black Madonnas with features resembling the indigenous population, various artworks that had darkened over time due to physical factors, and a residual category lacking a clear explanation. Moss's research underscored that a significant proportion of Black Madonnas depicted Mary with racially black features, evident in numerous African depictions and ethnic representations in the Marian Library collection. While the second explanation, concerning physical factors causing darkness, is frequently cited by lay Catholics, it may not fully account for all instances of Black Madonnas. The statue of Our Lady of the Hermits in Einsiedeln, Switzerland, serves as a notable example of this phenomenon. During its relocation to Austria in 1798, to avoid Napoleon's interference, the Madonna underwent cleaning, resulting in a blue tint. Upon her return in 1803, authorities decided to restore her original black color before exhibiting her to the faithful once more. Similarly, the statue of Our Lady of Altötting was spared from a church fire, likely contributing to its darkened appearance, although Moss casts doubts on this theory. While some Black Madonnas may have been altered after miraculous rescues from burning churches, explanations for others remain elusive. Despite categorizing images into the first two groups, there are still Black Madonnas that demand further explanation. Moss underscores the difficulty in dismissing artistic interpretation without explicit statements from the artist, leaving room for speculation. However, considering the intentional darkening of certain images, two compelling theories emerge. One suggests that images were darkened to echo a passage from the Song of Songs, "I am black but beautiful." Many Black Madonnas in France, dating back to the Crusades era, coincide with Bernard of Cluny's commentaries on the Canticles, where he likened the soul to the bride, often associated with Mary. The second theory, proposed by Stephen Benko, argues that the Black Madonna represents the ancient earth goddess adapted to Christianity. Benko points out that several goddesses, including Isis and Cybele, were depicted as black, symbolizing agricultural fertility. This theory posits that these images were repurposed in Christian worship, aligning with Pope St. Gregory the Great's guidelines on enculturation. After knowing all this, what do you think about the Virgin Mary and Jesus's color? Isn't it true that the Church tried whitewashing all religious paintings, but some of them were preserved that today show the true Virgin Mary and Jesus? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on whether the revelation of the Black Virgin Mary and Black Jesus changes Christianity's beliefs and values.